myself, Radina, and Hayley, we made the film with Rob years ago. I think it was like 5 years ago. Myself and Jemma have a production company together, so we make films together. And then we're all actually just friends with Rob and Dougie and Jed and everyone on the crew. We're all friends, and we have this WhatsApp group, which is the Quarantine Movie Club, and we set it up when the lockdown started at the start of March. So end of March? In March. So we set the this WhatsApp group, and we were just kind of keeping each other company and through lockdown. So we'd like watch films together, and we'd do quizzes, and we'd like write stories and share them with each other and stuff. And we just sort of were doing that. And then the director, Rob Savage, decided to play a prank on us, and he recorded it and put it online, and it went viral, at which point Shudder and a few different companies were interested in sort of seeing what it could turn into. And then we were unaware of this happening, and then we got a text from from Jed Shepherd, the writer, and Rob as well. And then they asked us if we wanted to go on a Zoom call with them, and obviously the last time we did a Zoom call with them, we got pranked and it went viral, so we were a bit dubious about doing it. But we did it, and then they asked us if we wanted to do the film, and then we did. So yeah, that was that.
It was such a quick turnover. I mean, 12 weeks was the entire, from sort of embryonic script stage right until when it came out on Shudder. So a lot of what was taken from the prank video was put into the script, sort of the way it was going to be filmed and the setup. And I know Douglas Cox and Rob Savage talked a lot about how they were going to shoot it. So we had a phone strapped to the back of our laptop, and then we'd have our audio interface strapped around the laptop, and then we'd be like meeting everyone like this on Zoom as an ensemble. And so once we had been spoken to like Doug and Rob, they were like, okay, so we're going to make this film and we want you guys all to be in it. It's going to be a Zoom seance. And on Friday, this was like on a Monday, and then on Friday we're going to do an actual real life seance, just for you guys to meet the other writer, Gemma Hurley, and just to see what we can sort of find from it. And so we did that, and lots of little bits came out of it. You know, the actual medium cut off during our seance, and then Gemma, who didn't know us, she could have that like distance to write these characters, because Radina has said this before about us all being like way too good friends, and actually it'd be really boring if it was just us chatting. I mean, you were sat here before sorting out your audio, listening to the dribble that came out of our mouths, and so she sort of like made little bits, so like Caroline and Teddy might have, you know, a romance, and you know, me and Hayley have this like head-to-head sort of like one-upmanship. And then we would do rehearsals like this. It was actually quite nice, even though the short turnover, we had a lot of rehearsal time. So each individually would talk about character with Rob. And then we'd also have big meetings where we would talk through the scriptment, because we didn't have a full script with, you know, lines. It was all very much like how we got from A to B, and the rest was us improving. So we would talk through those points very clearly with Rob and how he wanted to get us to get from A to B.
Rob would have us watch horror films before every kind of major take where that we needed to be scared. So we'd have to turn all the lights off and turn our, blow our candles out and just get ourselves essentially in the most dark we could. And he would play clips from different terribly scary films to just, get us like that intense feeling, to get us kind of scared, to kind of, because we'd be, joking and laughing like we do as friends between each take, and then be like, okay, now let's bring the mood right back into where we need to be. And then the other thing he did, which was very clever, is we shot all of our stunts first. So we did, I think like Radina and mine were the first day of shooting, and we got through like everybody's stunt work, so that when we actually were filming death scenes, we could react to them live on screen, which was really clever and really helpful, I think, for us as actors, because we didn't have to imagine what was going on. It was like, it was right there in front of us. Caroline's face is being smashed again and again and again every time we would do the take, which I found really helpful as an actor, just so that I could access that kind of emotion, because it is very draining to be crying and screaming and such height of distress for so long. So that to have that to actually react to was really, really helpful.
I think it's a combination of things. The first one, yes, being very relatable, because we're all kind of in the same situation during lockdown. You know, this whole Zoom thing, Zoom became so popular, all the meetings were on Zoom, so you instantly connect with that. Well, first of all, we have, second or third of all, I actually said first. But yeah, Rob Savage and Jed Shepard are insanely good filmmakers, and they're like experts in horror. So they just know how to do a good horror movie and how to bring that tension. Like, I wouldn't be great, but like they really know what they're doing. So the horror aspect, yeah, it's just like a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience. And also I think the fact that because the script was, as Jemma said, it was improvised, most of it. It was just, you know, some friends talking, and it was very natural. We kept it very natural, and it doesn't feel like, you know, a film. Also, I think the fact that the length is an hour, or 57 minutes, it's just something that people like, oh, it's, you know, it's only an hour, I can watch that, rather than a full, like, an hour and a half each film.
It's the uncanny though, isn't it? It's, you know, the uncanny of the fear of what might happen in the familiar, and we're all here sat day to day on a Zoom in a pandemic, and the horror is very much at the forefront. We've never experienced anything, you know, you experience deaths, you see something happening on the other side of the world, but this is a communal, in the biggest terms, you know, of a horror. So then the only comfort that we have in our loneliness of living in these little square boxes is then disrupted further. You know, we're brought down already into our homes, and this level of claustrophobia as a shared global experience. But then also in that claustrophobia, you know, Rob and Jemma and Jed made this even more claustrophobic and more fearing of the space and our homes, and not making any place safe for us, because at the moment, you know, to stay at home, stay safe, stay indoors, you know, that then is also interrupted.
That's Jed Shepard's, it's his short film that we all were in. Emma's actually the lead in it. We shot that, I think, a year or so ago, maybe 2 years. That it should be, I think it's going to be released in January. We're not sure actually how much we're allowed to give away. It's about brother and sister in a movie theater. That am I allowed to say? Hopefully allowed to say that. Okay. Yeah, it's been kept under wraps a little bit, I think, because Jed just wants it's a really creative, really cute, exciting little film that I think he's trying to keep under wraps until it's released, just to surprise people. But we do all have a little part in it.
They are. I think the first 20 minutes kind of, that makes it feel real. So it brings you in, and I think it makes you feel real, and it's the part where it's the setup for who the characters are. And by that point, I think, because the audience has learned those moments. I didn't know where Radina had gone. Are you right? Yeah. Like, because the audience had learned those things about Gemma's laughing. I'm sorry, I can't talk when Jemma starts laughing. Like, because the audience are, by that point, they've learned about the characters, then I think it sort of pays off, because they care about them by that point. So then they understand the relationships and the dynamics, so that it works when Jack comes for us.